welcome to the self-care series. This is Emosciousness video number 2, and today we're going to be talking about cultivating flowers in the garden of our soul, or taking good care of ourselves. If you remember from last week's video, we talked about 3 core needs that come from the different evolutionary stages of our life on this earth. They were to stay safe from the reptilian stage, to approach rewards or satisfaction from the mammalian stage, and to feel connected from the primate stage. Now, one of the things we've inherited specifically from that reptilian stage, where we learned how to stay safe in order to procreate and bring our genes forward, is this inherent ability to learn more from negative experiences. We call it negative bias. And what it means is that a negative experience we learn from much faster and much more in depth than a positive experience. So how can we tilt that bias? Well, last week we talked a lot about the choice and the intention. So we need to be consciously cultivating the ability to be in response mode, the ability to become resilient, and to tilt this negativity bias. So Rick Hanson, PhD, the neuroscientist whose materials I used last week and this week to share with you, has a nice metaphor about our minds and souls being like gardens. And so if we can just look at a garden, take away the weeds from the garden, or plant seeds from the garden, today is very much about planting seeds, planting flowers in this garden. And we will be looking at the other 2 areas because they're all important as well. Not necessarily from Rick Hanson's materials, but if you go to rickhanson.net, you will find a lot of great material on what I said last week and this week. So how do we tilt this bias? We come back to really cultivating mindfully the ability to feel love and enoughness, resilience, determination, and really turn positive experiences into a resource or a strength. Because as we mentioned, if we are a little bit like Teflon for positive experiences and Velcro for negative experiences, as Rick Hanson says, then what happens is that positive experiences, unless we consciously turn them into a resource experience or a strength, kind of slip away and don't really help us in any way. So he has this lovely acronym that he uses, which is HEAL, H-E-A-L, easy to remember. The letters stand for have the experience, enrich the experience, absorb the experience, and link the experience. So now I'm going to go through those 4 steps. So have the experience is literally, if you notice you're having a positive experience, or you create that positive experience. And that's as simple as that. More often than not, you can pick for example, if you're feeling disconnected, it's about having an experience, creating an experience, or realizing you're having an experience about connection. In the E for enrich, we're talking about really taking that experience and bringing it alive. Bring the high definition TV to it, the Dolby Stereo. So really focus in on how did it feel? What was happening? What did you see? What did you smell? Really deepening and enriching, especially from a perspective of the emotions that you felt, and what triggered it, and what was in it for you. So that's enriching, and we're talking about 10 to 20 seconds here to do all of this. At the beginning, it's a little slower because you have to think about it, but when it becomes a habit, we're talking about 10 to 20 seconds. That's all it takes for the brain to bring an experience from the short-term memory to the long-term memory, which is where it can then turn it into a resource experience for being more resilient. So We've talked about having the experience and enriching it. That really means broadening and deepening everything about that experience and really becoming aware of the emotions behind it. Next is absorb. So absorbing is really about consciously choosing it to taking it in. If you like, you can call it a picture memory, or if you were talking to children and teaching them this little practice, you could tell them it's about putting a jewel inside a treasure chest. That's how Rick Hansen expresses it. If you listen to Brené Brown, when she talks about trust, it's about putting marbles in the marble jar. Whatever suits you best, it's really about taking that positive moment, having enriched it and relived it, and telling yourself consciously, this is now becoming a part of who I am. And then there's this fourth step, which he says is optional, but I think is really important, which is to link. And by link, he means that once you have had this positive experience and you've taken it in and relived it completely, and it's turned into a resource so 20 seconds later, is to link it to the idea of being aware of the negativity. So this practice is not centered around optimism or overlooking the bad or anything. It really is about taking every moment in life that you can, which you feel is positive, and storing it, if you like, as a seed to grow positive flowers while being aware that there's negativity around you. What that does, the link part, what that does is it slowly goes and replaces flowering seeds where the weeds were, if you like. Okay, so it goes and replaces negative experiences with positive experiences. But it is a habit and it has to be conscious and consistent. This all works on the theory of neuroplasticity and how neurons that fire together wire together. So the more positive experiences you have, the more your neurons are wired to experience things positively. And the more negative experiences you have, the more your neurons are wired to feel and experience situations negatively. So we're consciously making sure we take in positive experiences and turn them into resources. So the acronym was HEAL, have the experience, enrich the experience, really enjoy it, absorb it, so choose to take it in, however you want to do that, and then link. So just become aware that there are still issues in your life and still right now you're okay. You're telling yourself, your system is learning that even if there are stresses or worries in life, at this particular moment, right now, this is a good moment. And that's really important. Now, the awesome thing that Rick Hansen shares here and that I'd like to share with you is that if we take the practice of HEAL, which takes 10 to 20 seconds, so even if you're really busy, you can handle this, you can choose to cultivate this as a habit every day to really choose an experience or have any positive moment where you just take 10-20 seconds and create that picture memory, put the marble in the jar, or you can even use it for self-healing in a more targeted way. So here's how to do it in a more targeted way. Going back to those needs that we had, which were to stay safe, to approach rewards and satisfaction, and to feel connected. Yet there are 4 core questions you can ask yourself in order to increase the experiences that will feed any lacks in those needs. So here are the 4 questions, and here's how you can use them on purpose to heal any sufferance that you might have in those 3 core needs or any other needs. The first one is, what is the need or the lack? Where am I suffering? So try and identify it to one of those 3 core needs or something that is clear to you. So perhaps it might be that I don't feel I belong, so I need to feel more connected. That's an example. The second question is, what do I need my mind to experience and feel in order to help that ailment or help that suffering? So be more on my side. And that helps you to identify what experiences you need to have in order to fulfill that need or that lack. So imagine that we stick to that example of feeling like I belong, or feel more connected to people. I would identify that I need to have more experiences where I am with others and feeling connected. Okay? And from there, you can get more concrete about how you do it. But that's the next question. So, how can I have more experiences that help me feel what I need to feel in order to fulfill this need? So, I could quite simply go from a very simple activities like going to school and dropping off my son and simply smiling at somebody and seeing them smile back at me. That would be a moment of me feeling more connected. It could be that I invite people over for coffee in order to feel more connected. It could be that I join a club. So getting really specific about what's the need, question number one. Question number two, what do I need more of in order to fulfill this need? Number three, how can I have experiences that fulfill that need? And the question number four is, how can I help it to sink in? And today we learned about heals. So one of the ways to help it to sink in is really to take those 10 to 20 seconds to help your mind, body, and brain to take the positive experience and turn it into, if you like, from a purely biological perspective, turn it from short-term memory to long-term memory. From a self-care perspective, turn it from just a positive experience that could slip away to a conscious choice of turning it into a strength, a resource experience for yourself. And so we're talking about 10 to 20 seconds. So those questions again were, what's the need? What do I need more of in my mind? What do I need to think more or feel more in order to fulfill that need? How do I have experiences that help me to feel and think that more? And then how do I help those experiences to sink in? And the sinking in part is the heal part. Have the experience, enrich it, absorb it, link it, and just, if you want to summarize, have the experience and enjoy it. So that's basically it for today in terms of planting seeds in the garden of our soul. In the next few sessions, we'll be looking also at how to just be with what's in the garden and also how to take away the bad weeds. It won't all be materials from Rick Hansen. Actually, we'll be moving on to other materials. And as previously mentioned, we'll also have a nutrition coach joining us to talk to us about stress and how to take care of ourselves in our eating habits. Okay, so I hope you have a great weekend. Take good care of yourselves, and thanks again for tuning in. Take care. Bye-bye.